Hello, my name is Eric. I work in the reference department of the Central Branch of JMRL. I am reading a book that is new to me. It is called Covered with Night, A Story of Murder and Indigenous Justice in Early America by Nicole Eustace. Eustace is a professional historian. She approaches the subject with academic rigor. She has footnotes and lots of sources, but the book is also written in a way that is really engaging for a general audience. It's dramatized, it paints a picture of the events that it describes, and it also discusses sometimes alternate accounts of those events. Now, the book revolves around an event that occurred in 1722 in Pennsylvania, or what would become the state of Pennsylvania, and was at that time the colony of Pennsylvania, as well as sort of the lands belonging to Iroquois Confederacy, or to the Iroquois Confederacy that lay west of what was then Pennsylvania. Two fur traders, members of the Pennsylvania colony, the Cartledge brothers, murdered an Iroquois Confederacy chief, Sawantownie, and so this created a diplomatic crisis. And so the colonists wanted to resolve the issue by administering justice, which in an English tradition meant sort of an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and they were going to execute the Cartledges. However, the Iroquois Confederacy sent a representative to Philadelphia, the capital of the colony, to argue on behalf of the Cartledges for an indigenous form of justice. And so that representative, Taquatar Sally, he argued in favor of not only not executing the Cartledges, but also in favor of not even imprisoning them. And instead, they would pay reparations, and there would be sort of a healing of emotional and community ties. And so the book really covers in depth these ideas, where they came from, how the two sides interacted, and how they eventually came to create a treaty, which is one of the oldest treaties that the United States government continues to observe. And the author argues that it gives us twin traditions, this English tradition of more punitive justice and an indigenous tradition of more restorative justice. And so not only does she cover the events in 1722, both the murder and the creation of this treaty, or the negotiation and implementation of this treaty, but also what it means for us today. So if you're a fan of history, and particularly of indigenous history or early American history, I really recommend it. The Iroquois Confederacy especially is something that's really, really cool about our early American history. So I highly recommend, and I hope you'll read it soon.